What's good, YouTube and Twitch? We're live to both right now, and dropping is lore dot cards that look freaking amazing in Darkwing Blast. I always say Darkwing Duck every single time. So let's go ahead and get into it. It's Visa Starfrost lore going in, and he already spiked in price the other day because he got a searcher that works with the tier elements. Well, this is looking like he's battling these dudes pretty much to the death. Visas learns there are forces much bigger than just a bunch of fear beasts and some terrorized mermaids and clear world settings. Best as we can tell, this theme's name comes from KSHATRI-LA, which I'm gonna murder, a warrior aristocrat caste in India, along with Shangri-La, a legendary paradise believed to exist in the Himalayas. And these guys, they have like basic tools, right? Like this hatchet, yet they have like world-ending also weapons, spoilers. So we'll start with KSHATRI-LA Fenrir, a level 7 Earth Psychic effect, and they're all like big psychic monsters. Attack 2400, defense 2400. I'm excited to see what they do. You can only use the second and third effects of this card's name once per turn each. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this from your hand. The big surprise, they get themselves out of the hand, and it doesn't look like a pitch cost though, which is insane. During your main phase, you can add one KSHATRI-LA monster from your deck to your hand. Sorry if I'm murdering your culture. Third effect, when this card declares an attack, your opponent activates a monster effect. So it can declare an attack or any monster effect of your opponent. Quick effect, you can target a face-up card your opponent controls and banish it face down. Special summons himself for free. If it attacks, not during damage calc or anything tricky, you can just target banish face down and attack again. That's kind of crazy. And that's any opponent's monster effect. So if they're trying to combo, go up through lines, link 2 is made, banish it face down. It's not flip it face down, which wouldn't apply. This is a really good card. This on its own is a pretty darn good card. All right, we have KSHATRI-LA Unicorn, level 7 psychic effect monster. Dude, the guy's got a lance, but he does have a unicorn horn. I didn't think about it. They look so amazing. Level 7, when psychic effect, attack 2500, defense 2100. You can only use the second and third effects once per turn. If you control no monsters, special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can add the one KSHATRI-LA spell from your deck to your hand. So it also self-replaces both of these cards. Special self-replace, but it doesn't get another one out along with it so far. But a spell searcher is huge. We know they have a continuous spell, have not seen a field spell yet. When this card declares an attack or your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can look at your opponent's extra deck and banish a monster from it face down. Okay, so that's extra deck and face up. What's up?
Goodbye, DPE.
Yeah, pretty much if you're playing any kind of fusion engine, yep, but Verte got banned recently, so we have less of him. Just more power one-ofs you might need to play extras of if this deck actually is taking off. I think the other one's better depending on the spells, because it self-replaces into adding any monster, and that would also be the spell searcher if there's something that helps them turbo out depending. But again, we got to see the rest of the deck. But this effect is definitely better on taking care of on-field monsters. But extra deck is nice. And now we have KSHATRI-LA Ogre, a level 7 water psychic effect monster. So not all wind. We're getting to different attributes. You can use the second or third effect of this card's name once per turn each. No, you can only use the second and third, not or, so you can use both in the same turn. If you control no monsters, special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can add one KSHATRI-LA Trap from your deck to your hand. When this card declares an attack or opponent's monster activates an effect, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck, and if you do, banish one of them face down, place the rest on top of the deck in the same order. I was getting excited. I was like, yo, stack the opponent's deck legally, let's go! Those kind of cards are always funny, but no, here they go, same order. I'm gonna go out of my way to say a lot of people have a tendency when 5 cards are in their hands to shuffle them. You're gonna have to use very extreme restraint to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fan, not shuffle anything while deciding, take one and put them back on, and definitely be watching your opponents while they are using this card as well. We've got the big fire world-ending Xyz planet-destroying looking thing with crazy defensive shields and a big gigantic laser. KSHATRI-LA Shangri-La is a rank 7 fire psychic Xyz effect monster, attack 0, defense 3000. Materials 2 plus level 7 monsters, so you can do more. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn during each standby phase. You can special summon a KSHATRI-LA monster from your deck, and all those are quick effects versus monster effects. That's kind of crazy. Each time an opponent's card or cards is banished face down, you can choose one unused main monster zone or spell and trap zone. It cannot be used while this monster's face up on the field? Wow, that's including, like, if they desires and stuff. That's kind of crazy. Or use, like, Extrav or Prosp. Each time, there is no limit on the second effect. The limit's only on the first effect. This card's kind of nice. If this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach a material instead. So destruction prevention, but you can still target bounce this, shuffle it away with Baxia. There's a lot of ways to still deal with this, but the self-protection is still nice and notable. It is not an aggressor. It is a slow-moving win condition that also can limit them to certain zones, but these cards so far do nothing with those zones.
Diabolosis says hi. Yep, people in YouTube chat is all like, Diabolosis finally has a phone, number 89.
It does work hand in hand with this, but so far there's not another card to help the others get out of hand. So far you get one out of hand, and I haven't seen them gone to Xyz places yet. Decline Scareclaw. I guess it's like Visa Starfrost has a huge Scareclaw weapon, and he's using it in space, powering up through his journey maybe. Normal spell card, you can only use the second effect of this card name once per turn. Target a primitive planet Resphobia you control or in your graveyard, return it to the hand. Then you can, if you control a Visa Starfrost, you can change a face-up monster your opponent controls to face-down defense, what we were complaining about earlier. If there are 3 or more defense position monsters on the field, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add a Scareclaw card from your graveyard to your hand. So the lore of both of these instead goes mostly to Scareclaws. Okay. So yeah, that doesn't work with the new archetype. It's just lore.card. We do have a spell going with it. Oh, go ahead.
Because thankfully, the funny Reichheart pairs along with Vista Starfrost, so it's all like, well, nice to see him actually being able to get some recovery for them. Good luck.
KSHATRI-LA Birth is a continuous spell card. It looks like they're like colonizing and building upon a planet for its resources and stuff. You can use the first and second and third effect of this card's name once per turn each. You can normal summon a level 7 monster without tributing. Oh no, monsters in general, just straight up. For any deck, you can normal summon level 7 monsters without this is kind of a big card. That's crazy.
89 support. Sweet.
During your main phase, you can special summon one of your non-Xyz KSHATRI-LA monsters that is banished or in your graveyard. Huh. So anyone in your grave, but nothing has gotten them to grave so far yet extra. So we can special and get out of our hands, but we need something that does them. If your opponent activates a spell card or effect and you control a KSHATRI-LA monster, you can target 3 cards from your opponent's graveyard, banish them face down, thus helping the Xyz even further, and it's whenever any spell card is active. So that's just bonus. This effect helps the others get out of the hands, and when they are out of the hands, you're able to use self-replacing effects or get free advantage on most of them. Helps you get to your Xyz alternate win con of locking out your opponent so that you can then beat them down, and it's a pretty good card overall, but still, the second effect, I don't hate it, I just don't love it. You specifically need it in your graveyard or banished. Scareclaw Twin Saw, so more Scareclaw trap lore stuff. So yeah, Starfrost is just like using Scareclaw attacks now. He's taking what he's learned from planets and using it. Normal trap. You can activate 1 card with this card's name per turn, tribute 1 Scareclaw monster, then target 2 cards your opponent controls, destroy them, and if you control a Visa Starfrost, banish them. That's kind of neat, actually. This is a big bite for Scareclaws in general. If there is a Link 3 or higher monster on the field, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Link monsters on the field cannot activate their effects this turn. That's kind of like turn-long lingering D-barrier for Link monster effects. But there has to be a Link 3 higher on the field. That can include yourself. Wow, and you can just, like, Foolish Burial Goods this or something. But for full advantage, obviously, you want to, like, Icarus attack version with Scareclaw. This is a huge boost for Scareclaws, man. This is big. This is very big for Scareclaw, ironically, during all this.
This is also quite convenient, because it's like, hey, your opponent is about to go through the funny access code line, tell them to stop.
And it's doing the slow Albaz thing of making Albaz better and better. Starfrost just keeps getting better and better. KSHATRI-LA prepare. So it's their in-archetype trap that was named searchable. You can use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. During either player's turn, you can special summon one of your KSHATRI-LA monsters that is banished or in your hand. Okay, so again, the resources must be already obtained or used. If your opponent activates a trap card or effect while this card is face up in the spell and trap zone, and you control a KSHATRI-LA monster, you can look at your opponent's hand and banish one card from it face down. Wow, really charging for that imperm. That's not bad. But traps are a lesser part of the game overall. They still exist. They're still part of it, like Eldritch Yep. So that's kind of big, but it only I wish it could banish from somewhere else besides just the hand when traps are already established, because the trap-heavy decks aren't going to care as much about their hand, right? But still a decent card. I can't complain about any of them. It's a really cool archetype. It's really well thought out. A lot of these can be used almost generically as big pieces like Pankratops kind of used to be. And it'll be interesting to see how they place themselves into formats. Definitely the first guy, the freaking Fenrir. That guy is crazy. What do you think, Kill, overall? Lore.cards / effects, how do you feel about it?
I love them. I'm grateful for the support for number 89 and one of my favorite number monsters because it's a psychic monster and I love psychics. And Fenrir over here is just like, hey, your opponent's playing funny back row deck, remove that back row. I don't like it. Get it out of here. Bye.
Yeah, I think this is so solid for Darkwing Blast, making it look like just even a better set off of the rip. Thanks for watching, everybody, especially if you were here live. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching the video, like this video if you did enjoy the conversation, and join the live streams to watch more of these live on stream.